Hey guys, I am back today with another video. Today I am going to be showing how I cut through a vintage chic scents loaf. And Kirby has been pouring more loaves lately, and I know there's been a lot of questions, a lot of things have popped up in the Facebook group about how to cut these things, because they are absolutely gorgeous inside. And I apologize, I'm not feeling my best. I'm a little short of breath today, so yeah, you might actually be able to hear me breathing, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I do to cut the loaves. Now, in all fairness, I want to show a couple of loaves that I have done in the past that didn't turn out so good before I discovered my little secret. So this loaf right here, I mean, it came out okay, but it's just all kinds of little pieces and shards of loaf is what's happening. Because when you cut into these things, because the wax is so hard and the roses are inside them, they do tend to shatter. So here we got a couple of, that's a huge, totally decent chunk. But then when we look farther down in the bag, we've got shards. Tons and tons of shards where the loaf just shattered. So I was talking to a couple of waxies, one in particular a couple of months ago, who had said that they had a little secret regarding cutting the loaves, and I myself have tried it, and it really does work. So I want to go ahead and show you guys what I do to cut a loaf. So here we got the loaf, and it is Bomb Pop Martini Roses Backwoods Barbie Overpour. That's not really important, but what is important is we've got the overpour, and then there's all of these wax roses inside, and it's not even. So when you cut through it, it just, the idea is that it shatters. But ideally what you want to do is you want to get nice even little cubes of wax that look pretty to put in your warmer. At the end of the day, it all melts the same, so do we really care? Yes, we really care. We want the wax to be pretty. We don't want shards of loaves. I mean, they still smell great and everything, but we want them to look pretty. So here is the loaf. Now, here is the apparatus that I use for all of my wax cutting. This is a soap cutter. And I've got mine at Michael's Craft Store. I believe the list price on them is $8.99, $9.99, but Michael's almost always has a 40% off coupon for one item. So I think I paid $5 for it. I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen them on Etsy, I think. There's a bunch of different places that carry them, and I've even heard people say that they got them as cheap as $2. So there is a crinkle cut version, and then mine is just the straight edge. The crinkle cut version's pretty popular, and it is really pretty. I happen to just grab the straight edge because I cut all of my wax with it, and I've just found the straight edge is better for some of the loaves that are already pre-cut and stuff. So I've got the straight edge, I've got this, I've got my cutting board. Now I am going to grab some parchment paper and show you guys what I do. Okay, so I've taken the loaf out of the bag that it came in, and I find it's also super important to know that I've taken it out of the tin. So just keep that in mind. It is out of the tin. Obviously, you're going to want to do that for cutting it anyway, but just take it out of the tin and set that tin aside. So I've got my parchment paper. And I keep this on for cutting, I keep the parchment paper on the surface of the cutting board because wax is really not that much fun to get off of a cutting board. So there's that as well. All right, hold tight for me. So now I've got the wax on a paper plate and I have put it in the microwave. The microwave is the secret to melting vintage chic scents loaves, and it's also why I made a big deal out of taking it out of the tin. So I'm gonna microwave this for about 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna flip it over and microwave it upside down for about 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, I've gotten the loaf out of the microwave and it is back on the parchment paper, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put my blade through it and show you guys how I cut it. Still got a little bit of shattering going on, but trust me, it was nothing compared to what was happening with these loaves before I started nuking them. Oops. Okay, so this is clearly not perfection by any means, but these types of slices right here are going to be much, much easier to cut through and to make little cubes out of than trying to do it all at once while it's super hard. They just kind of tend to cube themselves a little bit. So see, like, that's like a perfect melt. So yes, we still have shards. Clearly, there are still shards. This is not by any means a flawless way of cutting the loaves, but it is going much, much smoother with having microwaved it than it does just trying to cut it completely cold. So that is it. That is how I do it. Like I said, by no means is this perfect, but I do find it much, much easier to go ahead and nuke it for a little bit just to make that wax a little bit softer to cut through. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and have an excellent day. I'll see you in the next one.